1990 to mark the end of a legend, the final year of the third-generation Chevrolet Camaro. After a decade of dominance, style, and performance evolution, the Camaro prepared to say goodbye to the era that defined 1980s American muscle. The 1992 model was more than a car, it was a tribute, celebrating 10 years of innovation, from the groundbreaking aerodynamics to the powerful Z28. With exclusive 25th anniversary badging, refined aerodynamics, and the same unmistakable attitude, it became a collector's dream. Under the hood, the 5.0 liters and 5.7L TPI V8 engines roared with pride, carrying the final breath of an icon before a new generation took the stage. The 1992 Camaro didn't fade quietly. It exited with class, muscle, and fire, closing one of the most memorable chapters in Camaro history. As 1992 arrived, Chevrolet prepared to close the book on one of the most influential eras in muscle car history. The third-generation Camaro, which debuted in 1982, had defined an entire decade of performance, design, and cultural relevance. From its revolutionary aerodynamics to the roaring aerodynamics and Z28 trims, the Camaro had become more than just a car. It was a symbol of American determination. The 1992 model year represented the final salute before the fourth generation's debut, and Chevrolet made sure it went out with pride. A decade of performance comes full circle. The early 1980s Camaro was born into a changing automotive world, one shifting toward lighter materials and better fuel efficiency. Over the years, the third gen evolved from a sleek, futuristic coupe into a muscular performance icon that ruled the streets and tracks. By 1992, Chevrolet had perfected the formula. The car blended the aggression of the 80s with the refinement of the 90s, a true hybrid of raw power and modern sensibility. To mark this milestone, every 1992 Camaro wore a 25th anniversary badge, celebrating a quarter century since the original 1967 model rolled off the line. This wasn't just a cosmetic detail. It was a nod to heritage, legacy, and the loyal fanbase that kept the Camaro alive through changing times. The final Z28. The Z28 continued as the flagship model, representing the last stand of third-gen performance. It carried the same 5.0 liters and 5.7L tuned pure injection TPI V8 engines, producing up to 245 horsepower in the high-output version. These weren't just numbers, they were statements, proof that Chevrolet could still build a car that thrilled the senses while staying compliant with modern emissions and safety standards. The Z28's acceleration remained fierce, with 0 to 60 miles per hour times hovering around 6 seconds. The car's handling, sharpened over years of engineering refinement, made it one of the most balanced muscle cars of its generation. The lightweight chassis, low center of gravity, and well-tuned suspension gave it agility that rivals from Ford and Dodge struggled to match. Evolution of design and style. While the 1991 model had introduced major visual updates, the 1992 Camaro took things a step further. Its aerodynamic shape was subtly refined for better airflow and stability. The front faster remained aggressive, while the side ground effects and rear spoiler gave it a sleek, racing-inspired look. The Z28's hid louvers and badging stood as proud identifiers of its legacy, while the 25th anniversary logo on the rear decklid made sure no one mistook it for just another Camaro. In fact, the 1992 model has since become a collector's gem precisely because it represents both the end of an era and a piece of Camaro's heritage. Interior refinement. For the final run inside, the 1992 Camaro received the most refined version of the third-gen cabin. The driver-centric cockpit was improved with better materials, updated instrument graphics, and subtle trim enhancements. Though the layout was largely familiar, the small touches elevated the driving experience. The available T-top configuration remained a fan favorite, offering open-air thrills without sacrificing the car's structural rigidity. Optional leather, upholstery, upgraded audio systems, and digital clock displays added just enough luxury to make the Camaro feel at home in the modern world. Engineering maturity. After a decade of fine-tuning, the Camaro's chassis and suspension setup were at their peak in 1992. The car's torque-arm rear suspension and McPherson strut front end provided exceptional handling and road feedback. The Z28 models came equipped with performance tires and heavy-duty suspension packages, making them capable of precise cornering and stable highway cruising. The braking system, featuring four-wheel power-assisted disc brakes, ensured reliable stopping power, essential for a car capable of speeds north of 140 miles per hour. Every system in the 1992 Camaro reflected Chevrolet's confidence that they had perfected this generation's formula. Legacy of the IROCZ and Z28. The IROCZ had ended its run in 1990, but its spirit lived on in the 1990 to Z28. The aerodynamic body, low salon profile, and racing-inspired details all paid homage to the car that defined 1980s street performance. Yet, the 1990 to Z28 looked forward, hinting at what was to come in the fourth generation. Chevrolet used lessons learned from a decade of Camaro development to prepare for the future, improved aerodynamics, balanced power delivery, and driver-focused ergonomics. The 1992 model served as the bridge between two worlds, the raw muscle of the past and the precision engineering of the modern era. Farewell to a generation. Production of the 1992 Camaro ended in August of that year, closing a remarkable chapter in Chevrolet's performance history. Nearly 850,000 third-gen Camaros have been produced since 1982, each representing a step in the evolution of the American muscle car. The final year models carried not just a badge, but a sense of pride. They were the culmination of years of innovation, resilience, and passion. For many fans, the third generation remains one of the most beloved, not because it was the fastest, but because it redefined what muscle could be. The end of an era. The 1990 to Chevrolet Camaro Z28 was more than the last of its kind. It was a symbol of transformation. It represented the Camaro's ability to adapt, evolve, and continue to lead despite changing automotive landscapes. From its aerodynamic design to its thundering V8s, every detail of the 1990 to Camaro reflected the spirit of American muscle. When the fourth generation arrived in 1993, it would bring modern curves and even more power. But the heart of the Camaro, the soul forged during the 1982 to 1992 era, would remain unshakable. The third generation's final ride wasn't a farewell, it was a victory lap, a final roar before turning the page to a new chapter. And for enthusiasts around the world, the 1990 to Camaro Z28 will always be remembered as the last pure expression of 1980s muscle.